4-year-old girl and a 20-month-old boy. I've never done anything like this before, ever. I've never had any involvement in any campaign, or I don't have any political affiliations, and I don't even know what an activist was before I got involved in this, and this is my first time speaking to a room full of people, so, and I'm a little terrified if I'm honest, so you'll have to bear with me. But this is how strongly I feel about this issue, because to get over speaking to a room full of strangers I've never spoken to before, for me to do this is a big deal. So the reason I'm doing it is people need to know that this is affecting people just like me, and I need people to know that you're not on your own in this. This is my issue, my reason for being here. I got involved in the campaign last February when I started just taking notice of the news about the household tax. I remember thinking to myself, what on earth is this about? Like, hang on a second, they've already paid stamp duty on my house and I bought it. And so I started reading about it, and the more I learned, the more infuriated I became. And I don't know a whole lot about politics or anything like that. And I paid a little bit of attention in the news, when the banks were going bust and we were paying unsecured bond holders apparently, and it just started making sense to me, and I started connecting the dots, and I realised what the government was actually doing. They're taking from our local budgets to feed the debt that we didn't know, and that's what I started to realise, and it just made me mad. I thought, why are we doing this? Because I'm the type of person, I've always done what I thought I was supposed to do. I finished school, went to college, I worked since I was 15, and weekends, summers, I said through school, my cousin got a trade after he did his even cert. We've always paid our bills, and one of those people literally, I pay $10 a week off my ESB, my phone, so when the bill comes, it's paid, so I don't have to be looking for a big chunk, of money. So I never once received a final notice or a reminder bill, and it's not because I have the money and I'm paying it, it's quite the contrary, it's because I pay them in dribs and drabs that I don't get a big bill. Now I'm telling you this because I want you to know I'm very conscientious about paying what I owe. I'm done just willingly not paying my bills, and I'd hate to owe anybody anything. So I suppose I could have done that too, the household tax. I could have registered and paid, you got a few months to pay the instalments, but I just couldn't do it. I just felt cheated, and I wanted to do something about it. I said, enough is enough. So when I see the headlines, tax dodgers and this, that, and the other, I get really offended, because that's not me, I've never done that. So I saw a poster in Newbridge for a public meeting, and the date had come past, and I was raging, and I said, what do I do? And I took it upon myself, and I hope you're so offended, but I hadn't a clue what there was at the time, and I found this poster as a way to speak her, and I said, I'll send this lady an email. So I sent her an email, and Claire got back to me straight away and put me in touch with some of the people in Kildare, like-minded people who were trying to do the same thing and were as outraged as I was. And so I got together with them, and we met weekly, we talked about what we could do locally. We started organising ourselves, and eventually we started holding local protests in Newbridge and Mays and public meetings. We grouped up with other people in our localities who wanted to do the same thing. We went to Galway, we went to Dublin, Mays, Kenny. We lent our support to any local protests we could. And this is why we're here tonight, basically, because we need to build the campaign. And hopefully from tonight, some people here can get together and do the same thing we've been doing. Just take the initiative, organise yourself a meet, and just kind of get the information out there, because we need to do this together if we're going to be successful. Now, another issue I have with the household tax is that it's combined with the water tax. Now, these is the government's attempt to charge us for water. Firstly, I don't agree with, but however, having said that, I do understand other people pay for their water in other countries and this, that, and the other. So, I thought to myself, fair enough, they pay for it. But when I bought my house, I specifically asked about the type of water I received. And I don't know if anybody else here is familiar with CAHWT. It's nothing but lime in the water, and that's why you open it. And I said, there's no way I'm going to buy my own house, pay for it, and have lime in the water. And lo and behold, the council changed the water source a couple of years ago, and everything had catch replace on appliances that destroyed the water. And you know, that's one reason why I don't want to have to pay to ruin my appliances for the water. Another reason is that I read a report in February published by an environmental agency in Cork. You can catch it on enviro.ie about fluoridation in water. You know, this was a new issue to me too. I heard nothing about it, so I looked that up. And there was articles in the Independent going back for years. And apparently this is you know, one of Venice's promises back in 2001. I'll scrap the fluoridation of the water. You know, and something seriously wrong with that. Like the report is saying that you know, dental fluorosis, osteoporosis, arthritis, that's just a few of the things that you get from this report stating. And you want us to pay for this. You know, to pay for the service of, you know, making ourselves sick, destroying our plants. Now I know everybody's not buying the water. This is my own personal issue with the water meter, and I know the campaign has their own stand on and have made their own submissions to the government on, you know, that, you know, if you're going to charge people, they're saying it's for, you know, to conserve water, get 40% of leaks into the ground, you know. But that doesn't make sense. It's the leaks, you know, that anybody would kind of make that connection. But anyway, my issue of even stronger Washington, you know, you know, and as well as that, you know, between, I know it's €100 anyway, you know, if you can get the €100 together, but for mainly between household tax, the water tax, and everything else, and the SRI, the Economic Social Research Institute, have estimated it could be over €1,000 a year. Now, I was already paying €100, but to me, if this goes through, we don't try and stop it, €100 a month, to me, is devastating. You know what I mean? I don't know about anybody else, but we're already victims of recession. You know, my husband has had pay cuts of 20% on his wages, and is now working only 3 days a week. You know, it's still home going to come into my house and find a way to provide my kids the things they need, you know, because still taxes. He's so far removed from my life and people like me, he hasn't a clue about the struggles of the working class person. I suppose overall, the real reason I got involved is because nobody told me becoming a parent to worry constantly about the welfare of your kids. And they're genuinely fearful for the future in this country. If we allow these austerity measures to continue, my kids grow up and read about this recession in school, and I've no doubt in the history books as the worst decision the government ever made, you know, in the history of the state. And it absolutely will. You know, when I'm driving the day 20 years down the line, and my kids start to me and say, you know, Mum, I can't get a job, I can't buy a house, I'm going to have to leave the country. You know, why did you allow this to happen? And I want to be able to say to them, I tried my best to stand up for what I knew to be wrong, not to stand at the deaths of farmers and speculators on their shoulders, to try and reverse some of the wrongs that feel inflicted on us by those who we entrust to represent us, the people of this country, not the elites whose pockets we're lining. You know, we owe to them to say we didn't just sit back and do nothing. You know, I think we can make this task work for the government. I think it's achievable if we support it and do it together. And I think the power is really in the people, not the people in power. And that's what I'm here for tonight. So thank you for my time. That's my take.